Happy Wednesday, everybody. My name's Aaron. I'm the co-founder and managing director here at BWG Connect. We're a giant networking knowledge sharing group. And I spend the majority of my time just talking to brands, trying to figure out, hey, what are the biggest pain points? What are you trying to solve for? And when the same topics come up over and over again, we get the topics for events like this. Quick note for anybody, if you're going to be out at Shop Talk, we have a dinner going on out there. We have partners doing events. Just ping me, Aaron, Aaron at bwgconnect.com. We kind of give you a rundown of what we're seeing happen out there. More than happy to send out some invites if you're looking to network and knowledge share. So go ahead and ping me there. Other thing, we want this to be as educational and informational as possible. So just drop any questions you have into the Q&A, and we'll try to answer all of those as real time as possible. So don't hesitate to do that. And the last thing is we're starting, 2 to 3 minutes after the hour here, and we're going to wrap up with at least 2 to 3 minutes to go. We're going to give you plenty of time to get on to your next meeting without being late. Walmart, marketplace, all the changes. I've had a lot of questions from brands. I had multiple ones yesterday, including, how do we move to the marketplace? Is it worth it? Just tons and tons and tons of questions around it. And we've got some longtime friends, partners, supporters of the network, and just a ton of brands in it. But they're also really nice people over at Sellcord. So David's here today to kind of walk us through a bunch of stuff, but also answer as many questions as we can throw at him. So don't hesitate to drop those in. But David, I'll kick it over to you. You want to do a brief background on what you guys built and how you help brands out?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Aaron. So I'm David. I'm one of the co-founders of Sellcord. We exclusively focus on the Walmart.com platform, so really helping brands grow and dominate over there. This spans across not just marketplace, but also helping brands working through suppliers, working on Connect, but just the full understanding of everything Walmart.com. So all the digital piece of the e-com space. Super excited. I'll share my screen and talk through some of the things about Sellcord, where we are, where we stand. Yeah, we could definitely get this going.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Again, just had another 8 people join here. Drop any questions you have in the Q&A and we'll answer them as we go. So yeah, I love this. How to dominate your category on Walmart.com. I love it.
Let's do it. We got this beautiful AI picture of me. I
Yeah.
love I love that there.
Oh,
It's great. Yeah, please ask questions. This is, I would say, a slightly technical. We're going to cover a bit of the Walmart algorithm, understanding how, to grow your items within your categories, tracking your share of voice. We'll talk through it. So a little bit about us, a little bit about Sellcord. We're a leading marketplace, Walmart marketplace agency. I believe the stat is we manage more marketplace business than all other marketplace businesses combined. So that's pretty cool. We are a premium partner with Walmart Connect, so we are pretty high up there when it comes to our spend with Walmart. We do work exclusively with Walmart, so Walmart loves that, and they lean in with us, which has been great. Manage over 6.5 billion in total GMV, and about 2 billion of that is coming from e-commerce, and managing over 500 different brands across our different services. So, what are you gonna come away with from this webinar? I want to explain things. I want to explain how things work. But not only just the explanation is how can you take this home and, after this call, you could go and do some optimizations that are going to help you improve your digital penetration on Walmart. Understanding how content and media work together. Many companies are very siloed in how they do things. They have their media agency, they have their content agency, or they do one in-house or whatever it is. It's very important to collaborate. These two things, I would say, compared to even Amazon, Walmart significantly has a very strong relationship between the media and the content optimization pieces. So it's very important that both of these are working hand in hand. And then lastly is, okay, I've done the work. How do I actually measure success? Obviously, sales is a very simple metric, but beyond that, how do I take a look at my share of voice, let's say, my keyword rank? We'll talk through all of these different pieces. So here's the agenda for today. We'll be talking about the 3 pieces to the algorithm, which is pre-content, content, and item keyword performance. And then we'll be discussing some tools that exist, and we'll wrap it up with some case studies that we've done. So this is where I suggest that, we'll be sending this out afterwards, but this is a great screenshot right here just to understand what is the algorithm experience with Walmart. Let's understand a little bit over here. There's 3 levels to it. We'll be discussing each one in depth. The pre-content taxonomy is really the foundation over here, right? This is where things, oftentimes a barrier to entry. This is the product type and the category path. Once you've set your foundation, Now it's about the optimization of the listing, making sure you have the right keywords within your copy, making sure that your attributes are filled in correctly. The things that give you that check for listing score and those fundamentals. Beyond that, and then lastly is the listing now exists, you have a strong foundation. How do you go ahead and grow this listing? How do you take a look at how your item is performing for certain keywords? How do you use these data-driven insights to make changes to your listing and continuously grow? So let's start first with the pre-content taxonomy. Product type and category path. Obviously, the foundation makes the media efficiency and enables ranking. What does that mean? Let's begin with product type. Product type is a barrier to entry here. And I say that, I repeat it, because the way listings are able to rank for certain keywords is you need to make sure that your item is properly categorized. We'll give details and examples of this, but the way Walmart has been structured is that there are about 6,700 product types, and within those, keywords are related to them. So each keyword lives within a product type group. Now, a keyword can also live within multiple product types. This makes sense. For example, we'll take a look at the next slide, something within chocolate. You have chocolate bars and assortments, you have, just chocolate candy. There's going to be a mix of different product types that can both have the same keyword within it, but there are some that are just completely unrelated. For example, if you're trying to sell chocolate, but you're categorized as milk, it's not going to work, even though there's milk and chocolate. But let's say you're categorized as a toothbrush, it's just not going to happen. This makes sense, right? Obviously, when you go to Walmart, why does this exist? When you go to Walmart and you search for a toothbrush, you don't want a chocolate listing to appear. You only want to see toothbrushes. So this is a very simple way that Walmart uses to categorize your products. Now, at what
Wait, how
time,
do
at what
brands
point?
figure out what product? You said there's 6,700.
Yeah, 6,700 different product types.
Wait, so I mean, so how does a brand, like if we're talking step one, I mean, are there
Yeah.
tools out there that help identify it? You can dump it in, say, hey, this is where I am. Can you help me
Yeah.
figure out
So
what this is?
Walmart does break it down a little bit less granularly. They do have what's called a product type group, which they use to drill into it. And you don't have to like go so crazy. Like they give you like maybe like 12 to 15 broad groups. Within each one of those, it does go down, and then furthermore from there. What we have a simple way that we are able to pull this information. We've developed software that you could just plug in a single keyword and it will show you all the related product types. So we'll take a look at that on the next slide. I'll give an example of that. But
Awesome.
yes, it's definitely something that brands do need to understand a little bit more, because sometimes you think it's common sense. But I'll give another example within supplements. There's herbal supplements, dietary supplements, vitamin supplements. You don't necessarily know which one is relevant to your product. And it could be multiple are, but one is more relevant than another. Walmart actually attributes scores to each of these. Again, this is I'm alluding to this next slide over here. But back to the fundamental piece of it, product type is set up when you first create your listing. When you create a listing, whether it's on the supplier side through supplier one, whether it's on the seller side through seller center, when you're going in and creating a listing, you are doing it by product type. Now, you could update this product type as well. For the supplier side, you might have to open a ticket, go through your merchant. On the 3P side, you just go ahead and open a ticket and you're able to update it like that. There are some ways to update it through flat files, but that's a little bit more technical. It's very important to make sure again that your product type is set up correctly prior to, don't just make an assumption, hey, this is a good product type for me and just get into it, because this again can determine your ability to rank for certain keywords. And furthermore, let's discuss this this example on the right here is, let's say you're working within a very heavily branded term space. For example, Kleenex within tissues, or Crock-Pot within slow cookers, or chapstick within lip balm, right? All of those are common terms that a lot of users will search for. But if you go to Walmart right now and you search Crock-Pot, it's not fully dominated by the Crock-Pot brand. Why is that the case? Because Walmart has determined that Crock-Pot is a keyword that lives within the product type of slow cooker. And if you're able to rank and show that I am a good item that converts well for slow cooker, Walmart automatically knows that you should also be related to Crock-Pot, because there's an association. Walmart knows if you're ranked for, say, 50% of the keywords within this product type, you should probably also rank for the other 50% of the keywords within this product type. Their goal is to give product types that are narrow enough that should really classify all the items that exist within it. So that is just a great way to be able to have a better chance at conquesting some other brand terms, if that's a direction that you're taking for your brand.
Yeah, so quick question. Can you update an item product type into a new hierarchy taxonomy, Also, can you update an item H1 header tag description in Supplier Central?
Okay, so a couple of interesting terms here. So you can update a product type, yes. And the way to do so, if you are on the supplier side, presumably you will need to go through your merchant. You start first by creating a ticket, and they're going to come back to you and say, hey, you got to reach out to your merchant. You send them that information and they will support you on this. You have to give them good reasoning and explanation. Hey, I'm trying to rank for this keyword. This keyword is not, that doesn't necessarily live within our product. Sometimes the merchants know, sometimes they don't know. And that's something where it might get a little bit difficult, where they say, oh, this is associated to a certain fine line. Well, they don't understand is that maybe the in-store fine line has nothing to do with the e-commerce product type. If you are having issues over there, a solution that exists is this is a very workaround solution, but if you have a 3P marketplace account, I suggest everyone have a 3P marketplace account. We'll dive into a little bit later. But if you do have that account, you're able to list your items over there and perform your content optimizations there. And because there's no merchant over there, you just have a ticketing system, they're able to do those optimizations for you. You will have to win content rights. It's a little bit more complicated, but yes, it is doable. Regarding header tag or descriptions, we'll discuss copy optimizations shortly if that's what you're referring to. Let's just give an example here of product type. This just so we can understand here. Here are 4 keywords within the chocolate category. We're going to give chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate candy, and chocolate bars. Next to this, you have the keyword rank. Keyword rank is information that we have, which shows how big a keyword is. So for example, chocolate is keyword number 125 within Walmart. It's a massive keyword. The lower, the better here. Think the largest keyword is milk, right? This is obviously Walmart is very strong within grocery. So chocolate, a major keyword at the top 125. All these keywords are very large. I would say anything within the top 10,000 is a major keyword. Within the top 1,000, phenomenally large keyword. So chocolate is here, dark chocolate is here, chocolate candy, and chocolate bars. Now, you might have a product that fits all of these, right? You might have a chocolate candy bar. A dark chocolate candy bar is all of these things together, right? So now how do you determine what's the best product type for you? So the real answer is, what are you trying to rank for? So here we have on the top, we have 3 product types. We have chocolate candy, candy bars and miniatures, and chocolate and candy assortments. Now this matrix over here is showing us the relevancy score to each of these keywords, right? And as we can see here, I highlighted the ones that are the highest. So if seemingly here, it's a pretty obvious answer. If you have a dark chocolate candy bar, your ideal product type is chocolate candy because this has the highest score out of all of these. But it's not so far off, right? If you look at candy bars and miniatures, you have a pretty good rank for chocolate. It's the second one. If you have dark chocolate, it's also the second one. It's just 0.3 difference. And even chocolate candy, although chocolate and candy assortment is a larger or has a higher relevancy score, it's still not far off. Now, again, it would depend what your goal is to rank for. So what do we mean by this? It's very important to see where your traffic is coming from. You want to be able to see, am I dominating on which keywords? So if you're already winning on chocolate, dark chocolate, and chocolate candy, but on chocolate bars, you're not necessarily succeeding today, the recommendation would be to change your product type to, let's say, candy bars and miniatures. And now you have a 99.4% relevancy score towards the keyword chocolate bars, and it'll make your advertising more efficient. It'll give you a better chance to rank organically and win that keyword. Now, if suddenly you notice that your rank starts to fall off for some of these other keywords, go right back to chocolate candy, because those are the ones that are really keeping you going, and those 3 are all larger keywords. Now, this is a very simple example over here. This gets ever more so complicated as you go through more complex product types. For example, within supplements, you have the, again, very broad product types within dietary supplements, vitamin supplements, herbal supplements. These could span across multiple different types of products, right? You have melatonin, right? You have CoQ10. You have all these very different types of items that might both fall within a similar product type. So definitely a lot of information to look at within this. But the minimum idea is, if you do not have any relevancy, for example, you'll see some here. The lowest one here is dark chocolate for chocolate candy and assortments. It's at 39.2%. That's very low. That means if you're trying to rank for dark chocolate, but you're in the chocolate and candy assortment product type, you're going to have a very difficult time ranking over there. Can you succeed? Yes. But say that was 0, say there was no relevancy, you would have a phenomenally hard time ranking for that keyword, potentially not able to rank for it at all. So this is where some of these things, which might seem very common sense. Oh, yeah, I'm a chocolate and candy assortment, but you're trying to rank for dark chocolate. It's going to be very hard for you. So just keep this in mind that this is what's really going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I see.
Another question comes in. Where do you find the relevancy scores for keywords?
Yeah, so this is a great question. There is information that we're able to pull directly from Walmart. There's also information that we have been able to, work on ourselves that we can make these assumptions based on items that are ranking. So the simple explanation is that when you take a look at a SERP, at a search results page, let's say you search for the keyword chocolate, you'll see 40 organic ranked items and 12 sponsored rank items. The idea is to look at all those product types for those items and now make an assumption. You could see the question is this is really a chicken and egg situation here. What came first? Was it the results showing up for the keyword, or is it the keyword that created this ability to show these products? If that makes any sense. So when you're looking at an item, if you search a keyword and you see that 90% of the items that rank for this keyword organically are all within this product type, you can know now that that's going to be your primary product type for this. That's a very simple way of putting this. It's obviously a lot more complex than that, using a lot more data than that, but that's the idea behind this. There's also some of this information that does come directly from Walmart. I could share a little bit of that more offline, but that's the gist of this over here. So these scores are not, these scores are actually coming from Walmart. This is something that we're not just making up, but we're able to supplement that data with some of the other information that we have. So
Awesome.
yeah, I would definitely love to chat through that if anyone does have those questions. So that's a product type. That is I know we spent a lot of time on this, but if that's all you take away from this, that product type is important, a mission accomplished. Like that is really again, it's a barrier to entry. Now, the first level of high-level optimization is category path. It's again a very simple optimization that can truly have an impact. So unlike product type, which is there's only a unique product type per item, you can have two product types for your same product. You can change it, but it will have no relationship to that previous product type. Category path, however, exists within what's called a primary shelf. The category path you might hear called primary shelf. That's synonymous, but you could also have, if it says primary, clearly there's also a secondary as well. Now, the thing is, though, primary is going to be the main driver. Even if your item does exist on a secondary shelf, that is a strong category path for the item, it's not going to be as powerful to your rank as the primary shelf is. So how do you see what your primary shelf is? How do you set your primary shelf? Let's talk about it. Walmart will automatically determine your primary shelf based on the copy and information, the attributes that you put into your listing when you create it. This is not a field. It's not a field that you fill in. Hey, this is what I want my category path to be. Walmart automatically determines it. The way to see it is there's many reports within Walmart that pull it, but if you go to your PDP and you scroll to the bottom of the page, it'll show you like your taxonomy there: food, baking, baking ingredients, baking chips, great value chocolate chips, whatever. It'll show you the full flow of it. And you can click into it. It's a searchable feature as well. So there's a common sense piece here, which means you should just stick to whatever is based on your content. But similar to product type, Walmart advises what is the best category path for every single keyword. As you can see here, for these 4 keywords, there are 3 different category paths. For chocolate, it's great value chocolate chips. For dark chocolate and chocolate bars, for number 2 and number 4, it's both chocolate bars, and then for chocolate candy, it's shop all chocolate. So again here, how do you determine what the best category path is for your item? You have to look at where your rank is today. You have to see, are you ranking well for chocolate? Great. If you want to rank for dark chocolate, go into chocolate bars. If you're trying to rank for chocolate bars, also go into chocolate bars. Again, similar to product type, how can you make these changes? This is done through cases as well. You may need to get your merchant involved. And similarly, on the marketplace side, you just open a ticket and they're able to optimize this for you. There isn't a simple way within the UI to just select the different category path. You could also open a ticket and ask, what are my current category paths? And they'll show you your primary and all of your secondary ones. But again, just because it's a secondary shelf for you, it definitely helps, but the primary is going to be the one that drives the most. So let's say your primary is shop all chocolate and your secondary is chocolate bars. That's going to be really good if you're trying to rank for chocolate candy. But if you're trying to rank for dark chocolate and chocolate bars, you need to be within that chocolate bars category path. Now, something that sticks out over here, which I don't know if people are noticing this, but the first one The category path is great value chocolate chips. Now, for those of you who have ever shopped in a Walmart or know that great value is a branded term. This is Walmart's private label food brand. And how can you go into, there's a lot of these. If you look in toothpaste, the number one category path is Colgate. Surprised, right? So you're able to see a lot of these category paths. Unlike product type is never branded. It's exclusively a non-branded term. But for category path, I don't even know how many there are. I'm assuming it's in the hundreds of thousands. No, that might be a little excessive. It's definitely a lot. I've once pulled a spreadsheet that had them all. I don't know how, but there's a lot of there's a lot of category paths out there, and they're constantly updating as well. If you think of it like this, right? Your product is not great value. You're just selling your regular chocolate over here. You could still get into that great value chocolate chips category path, even though you're not great value. Because in the end, Walmart's algorithm doesn't care what it says over here. To them, it's just a bunch of numbers. And they know that if you're in the great value chocolate chips category path, your item will succeed. Now, some brands, I understand the hesitancy to go into a category path that's not they're aligned with their brand, right? You are not great value, so you shouldn't be in there. But it's not against terms, and it's going to be the best results for you to rank for your items. But I do understand the hesitancies, and you might want to go into some other product category paths as well. Okay.
Do you think really quick, and I know we got to keep cooking. Well, one question from this table, which is the primary shelf?
Sure. So here we have three things. We have the keyword, similar to the previous page. The keyword and the keyword ranker are the same. And this is the top category path. So this category path includes the primary shelf. Primary shelf is the last part. It's the bolded part of this. So this category path, your food, baking ingredients, baking chips, great value chocolate chips, is the full category path. The primary shelf is, it could be the same thing, or it could just be just this last peak, great value chocolate chips. They're the same thing.
Okay.
But it's this column here. A lot of technical information thus far. I hope this is all good, but please ask questions away. I'd love to dive into any more of these pieces.
Yeah,
There's
keep
a
them
lot.
coming, everybody. This is awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so that's, again, those are two fundamental pieces when it comes to the pre-content. Let's jump into content, things that might be a little bit more commonplace. You know, if you're used to doing e-commerce, you know about keywords, you know about copies. The category path and Walmart product type are both exclusive to a Walmart piece. Obviously, different platforms have their own categorizations, but everyone knows keywords. A highlight over here is your title is the most impactful for visibility and keyword ranking. When it comes to content, keep this in mind always. The title is the most impactful optimization you can do. So if you have a keyword and you want to insert it into your product, the title is going to be where it's going to have the greatest impact. Okay. Let's talk about content quality score. This is something that any of you who are suppliers, you know your merchant has pushed you on this a million times. You need to have either your 95. Some merchants are even pushing for a 98% content quality score. Now, I want to emphasize something here. A content quality score of above 95% is required or highly recommended, but it does not guarantee visibility. You could have a 100% content quality score, but still not have a perfect listing. What is lacking or what might be missing is it's important to understand the keywords that go within your title. Obviously, there's things to do within attributes, and that does have lift and description and key features, but the title is going to be the fundamental piece. So as you can see here, 3 critical steps is the keyword-rich titles, things we've been discussing up until this point, which is optimized product types and category path, and then relevancy to top organic results. We'll discuss that. So let's just give a little bit of a breakdown of the content quality score just to understand what it means. There is 100% is the full. It's based on 40% of that is attributes and backend, 45% of that is copy, which is 15 title, 15 description, and 15 key features. Description is sometimes called short description, and key features are sometimes called long description. And then the last 15% of that is images. Again, high content scores doesn't guarantee visibility or sales. Let's understand. So again, content quality score, very straightforward. Just fill in your attributes, you're good. Let's talk about the copy piece, because this is, again, I want to give you fundamental ideas to use here to be able to grow your listings organically. Let's talk about keywords. There's 2 pieces to a large keyword. We were looking at chocolate before. There's high search volume, and then there's high relevance. They're not synonymous. Search volume, chocolate is very high, but chocolate is extremely broad. The way I like to think of relevance is, there might be another term for it, but like, what is your conversion? Like, what is your chance at conversion? What's your shopper intent? Maybe another way to think about it. When someone's searching for chocolate, are they looking for your chocolate bar? Are they looking for cocoa powder? Are they looking for, I don't know, there's a million different things that chocolate can mean. It could be truffles. It could be whatever it is, right? It could be candy bars. There's so many different ways it can go. Versus chocolate bars is already significantly more direct than just the broad chocolate. So let's take a look here at another example of this. The keyword mat might be a very high keyword, but let's say you're selling a purple yoga mat. If someone searches mat, they might be looking for a floor mat, a car mat, a doormat. I don't know what they're looking for. Probably not. Or maybe they're looking for your purple yoga mat, but the intent is very low. Yoga mat is going to be very high. You have a purple yoga mat. That makes sense that people are searching for yoga mat. They're going to want to purchase your product. Lastly, you do have the keyword purple yoga mat, but the search volume is so low that even if you're killing it over there, that's not where your efforts should really be. So you want to find that happy medium between that relevancy and that search volume. In this case, it would be yoga mat. So with that information, you have now a little bit of those insights to understanding what your keywords are. We'll talk a little bit more about keywords within this. But with that keyword, you can now go ahead and insert that into your title, and again, make sure that you are seeing that rank. So how do you actually check how you're performing? How do you see, am I growing my keyword rank? Am I going after the right keywords? Let's talk about the data. What data exists out here? So here are 3 different data sources I would say that exist. There's ad data, very simply data from Connect. So you can see your spend, your CPCs, your ROAS, your conversion rates, how many impressions you're getting, your clicks, click-through rates. It could go on forever. New brand, there's so much information that exists within ad data. The second data, this is I'll call Sellcord data, ranking data, where we track organic rank, sponsored rank, and share of voice. Those are going to be instrumental to see how you're performing. And then lastly, there's 3P data, or if you are paying for charter, Scintilla charter data. Why do I call 3P data? We're going to discuss a lot about it. I am a big proponent of utilizing 3P for its data. We'll speak about it. In there, what it gives you is really phenomenal information when it comes to category performance, how your item performs within this category, as well as each item performing against its keyword. We have slides about it. We'll talk about it. Let's start first on the ads piece and understanding a little bit how does sponsored rank work. So before we understand sponsored rank, let's even think about organic rank. How do you rank organically for a product? This is all these things that we just spoke about. You have strong product type. You have the correct items within your keyword, items within your title, keywords within your title, I'm sorry. You have your content quality score. These are all things that build rank. They build organic rank. Now, if you want to be able to really exacerbate that or accelerate that, you now need to throw some ad spend behind it, and you're able to push growth from there. So what is sponsored rank? Sponsored rank is when you search a search term, let's say chocolate, you're going to see the top 3 or 4 placements are going to be sponsored. The natural assumption, at least what I used to think, was that the person in the first spot is paying more than the person in the second spot, than the item in the third spot, and so on and so forth. Whoever pays more gets the best placement. That's true to a degree, but something that you're not understanding is it's actually based on a bid, your CPC, how much you're paying for that placement, multiplied by this relevancy score, this elusive relevancy score. This is what it's called, which basically means, very simply put, the relevancy score is how well is your item ranked organically? Does your item match the items that are currently organically ranked for this search term? Meaning, is the product type aligned with this keyword? Is the category path aligned with this keyword? Are the keywords in your title aligned with this keyword, right? Because it's the same keyword you're searching for as well as other keywords. All of these pieces play a role within your relevancy score. And the last one being, how has your item interacted with this keyword? Does it have strong clicks? Is it getting conversions? Is it making sales? All of these pieces matter. Does the price point match? Is the shipping speed good? All of these things are different. Each one has a different score, and all in all creates this relevancy score. So what does this mean? That the number 1 placed item is not necessarily the item that's paying the most. It's not necessarily the one that's spending the most. It could be one that has an extremely high relevancy score and actually a lowered bid. So when you think about this, if you're just starting to launch your item on Walmart, at the beginning, it's going to cost you more because you're still building up your organic relevancy. And then with time, you're able to reduce your bids, reduce your CPCs as your relevancy score increases. And the whole time, you're able to maintain that top sponsored position. So just having that concept, again, will help you be a lot more efficient when it comes to your ad spend. So let's think about one more piece of this, which is the second price auction on Walmart. Although you could reduce your CPCs, because your relevancy score is increasing and you could pay less and win the same placements, if you don't lower your CPC, if you don't lower your bids, you're going to end up actually overpaying for your positioning because of Walmart's second price auction. So Walmart introduced second price auction a few years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. And what the idea is, if you place a bid of $2 and the next highest bid is $1.50, Walmart will charge you only 1 cent above their previous bid to win that position, which is great. Walmart is definitely helping you out and giving you a good opportunity. So let's say you made a typo, instead of putting in $10, you put in $1,000. They're not going to charge you $1,000 per click. Very nice. Now, who's to say that you can't win this bid at less than $1.50? You might still be able to win the same placement at actually a lesser point. So this is where you need to really check two things. Look at your organic rank and your sponsored rank. So again, you have an item, it has its rank for, let's say, the keyword chocolate. Its organic rank is 5, its sponsored rank is 1. And your CPC is $3. What I would do is, if I see my sponsored rank is 1, reduce your bid to $2.50. Do I still have the sponsored rank 1? Great. Reduce it to $2. Reduce it to $1.50. Keep lowering your bid until you see it impacts that sponsored rank. Now, obviously, you want to maintain a strong sponsored rank because it's helping you grow your organic rank, but you don't want to be overpaying for it. So that's where this is a very fundamental piece to understand when it comes to the way bidding works on Walmart alongside that relevancy score.
Really
So,
quick, next question that comes in, where can we locate the relevancy score? And
great
thanks, everybody.
question.
Keep dropping questions in the Q&A. We'll answer them right as they come in.
Yes. I wonder if this is all, I think it's all been the same anonymous attendee. That'd be funny. So with a relevancy score, it's actually not something that Walmart divulges. There's been, for those who've been working with Walmart for a while, there is a bit of an understanding as to the formulation that Walmart uses to determine that. But if that score was simply put somewhere, it would make things a lot easier, to say the least. It's something that we have been able internally to create some ideas around based on all the factors that we understand plays into the relevancy score, which is, again, product type match, category path match, keywords match, content score, price, shipping. All those different pieces all play a role in it, and we've created our own idea of what the relevancy score is, but it doesn't exist externally. It's purely an internal metric by Walmart, but we know it exists. It's definitely something that does exist. So that is a good question. So what we ended off on the previous note was being able to take a look at your organic and your sponsored rank. And this is where, someone like ourselves come in. We have tools. We have this tool Dashna. This is our tech tool, which is more than just an ad platform, but the ability for sellers, for suppliers alike, to be able to track and monitor their organic rank or their sponsored rank. You put in an item, you put in a keyword, and it shows you over time. You can check any time point. We even track this automatically. Every day we track 600,000 keywords on Walmart. So it's not even like something that you just put in your keyword and you're going to start seeing from the day you sign up. But actually, we have all the historical information. So you can see, what's my organic and sponsored position been over time. So what this, again, helps you do is see, all right, I have a strong organic rank. I have a strong sponsored rank. Let me lower my bids. And this is where looking at this whole picture is very important, to take a look at your ad data alongside your sponsored data. Further from this, we also have share of voice tracking. Now, this is where your supplier, you don't just have this 1 to 5 items that you're working on. You have tens, hundreds, thousands of products across many different keywords or even categories. How can you track your overall performance? This is where share of voice really comes in. To be able to see your brand share of voice within a category or within a specific keyword. So I'll just give an example of this. Here's like an example of TV. So you can see LG, for example, has a 30% SOV within the keyword with an average organic rank of about 4.5 and average sponsored rank of about 4.5. Hisense has about half of their SOV, but again, very strong organic rank, but their sponsored rank is slightly lower. And then you see TCL, et cetera, et cetera. This is something you'll typically notice with private label Walmart brands. For some reason, they have a content issue. Some of their listings show on with a period, some of them don't. Overall, they have about a 13 or 14% score, but actually, no, 16%, what am I saying? But they don't have any sponsored rank, which is very common for sponsored for private label brands. They just don't have, they're not paying for ads. So you could track over here as a brand, how are you doing? How are you growing over time? Again, this data is all, we track this every day for 600,000 keywords. So we have the historical information here. Now you could also do this not just on a keyword level, but on a category level. So you want to say, let's say within this full product type, within this category path, how am I performing? Something interesting we've done as well, let's say you are, you have a number of different brands that you work. So you want to see your aggregate across all your brands. That's the ability to do that as well. Furthermore, let's say you are a private label supplier with Walmart. Let's say you create those products, but you also have your own brands. We're actually able to utilize the item IDs that are within your catalog and be able to segment it out. So let's say you make TVs for on, but someone else also does. You can see, hey, how are my on TVs going versus someone else's on TVs? And just able to, again, to see more of that information, which would make sense perhaps why there are two different ons here. It could be two different suppliers making the products, and just each of them has their own way of putting the keywords or the brand name rather. So again, this is just supplementary information that you could use to be able to see how are my items performing. This is the measurement piece, which then helps you make those informed decisions. All right, enough about us. Let's get to this phenomenal piece and this phenomenal tool that Walmart has put out within Marketplace. Some of you are suppliers who don't have Marketplace. Some of you are Marketplace sellers. Let's understand what exists within Marketplace.
And really quick, one thing that
Yeah.
you mentioned at the beginning, right, was you think everybody should have a marketplace?
Yeah, this is exactly this piece.
And is there a benefit? Like, are they actually switching business? Or are they just opening it up and selling a few items? Like, is there a benefit?
Yeah, so I don't want to get in too much trouble here. So I'll just share what my thoughts are is that you could have an account and never sell a dollar through it. Now, there is a whole lot of information when it comes to the benefits of Marketplace. You can look us up. I've done, we've done our own podcast on this, just what are the benefits of using Marketplace as a supplier, how you can help grow your in-store business. Whole other conversation. I would definitely love to chat on it. But even if you're not planning on selling a dollar through it, there's phenomenal data that exists within Marketplace that you should have for your account. How do you do this? If you create a Marketplace account, do it under your brand, do everything the correct way, and you list your items, you don't even have to put a unit of inventory. You just put your items in there. All they have to do is be published. That it's just a status that exists within Walmart. It won't have any impact on your PDP. No one will even see that you're on this listing because you have zero inventory. So you don't actually have an offer. You just have a published listing within your account. You will unlock the search insights, it's called. There's 3 different pages. There's a search insights tool, there's a search query report, and then there's a related query report. I didn't put that one in here because it's a little bit simple. But these two over here are truly, again, an insane amount of data here. What the first one does, the search insights tool, we discussed product types. It shows you within your product type, what is your impression rank, your click rank, add to cart rank, and sales rank. And these numbers update weekly. So you can see within a product type, which we discussed so much about the importance of product type, what is your sales rank? And this is across all of ecom. This is across all of Walmart.com, including pickup and delivery, ship to home, ship from store, all of those metrics. So this is your 3P items and 1P items. It doesn't include anything when it comes to store sales, but purely within the ecom space, your sales rank. So I could see, let's say I'm selling, in this case, let's say a sink mat. This product is the #1 sales rank for sink mat. How can you utilize this information? It's very simple, right? You're able to see, hey, these are my low-hanging fruit. I have 100 items. This one has a sales rank of 50. This one has a sales rank of 3. The diminishing return to get from 3 to 1 is going to be much harder to do than getting from 50 to, let's say, the top 10. So it just gives you insight into where your items can do better for .com. Again, some of you might be paying for Scintilla data for this. Some of you might just be able to get this very simply from, a 3P Marketplace account. Now, in addition to just sales rank, you also see your impression rank, your click rank, and your add to cart rank. So you actually have insight into the funnel. You're able to see, hey, I have high clicks, but I have low impressions. We have the next slide. We'll talk about how to actually action on this data. But this is just phenomenal on the first piece, high level item. And if you see your data available on item level within product type, variations are grouped. So let's say you have 50, you're selling apparel, you have 50 different listings or 50 different items on one listing, it'll group it all together. So you don't have to see this color sells sales rank of 3, this color is sales rank of 30, like it all just groups it all together for the variation. But then you have item keyword level data, which is the search query report, which you put in any item, and then you're able to search weekly or monthly historically. So it's not just today. You're able to look back up until, I think, April of 2025, and you're then able to see a few different metrics here. It gives you what's called let's skip over query score. It gives you a frequency rank, which basically means how large is this keyword. Again, the lower the better. Gives you the number of competing products if you're curious about that. But the 3 key things here are impression share, click share, and add to cart share. This is no longer a rank. This is a definitive percentage. And you can see here, for example, let's say for this first keyword, which is blurred out here, there's a 2.74% impression share, a 1.3% click share, and a 0.73 at the cart share, which makes sense. Basically, it's a funnel. You're able to see they're having a decent amount of impressions, fewer clicks, and then fewer actual conversions. But this gives you that insight, because if you look down here, there's one of them that has a, let's say, 3% impression share, but a 6% click share. That tells you something. You don't have so many impressions, but you're getting a lot of clicks. And this is, again, on an item keyword level, so much so that it's even on a granular level within a variation. So you can see which colors are doing better than others. And what's one of the limitations of this is it's all manual reports. There is an API that exists for this. It's currently in beta. We're one of the partners that work with Walmart on this. And we're able to then aggregate it, and you could see not just across one item, but across your entire catalog, what on a keyword level, what's your impression share collectively, your click share collectively, and again, gives you can imagine how great that insight is.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm thinking, but we got a question here from Lisa that we'll get to. If I'm with Walmart, number one, if I don't have Marketplace, I'm setting up a Marketplace account. Number two, I'm jumping in here because a lot of this we're talking about, dominating, winning in the marketplace as a whole, which then this is then going to guide my strategy, right? You got, we'll say 500 SKUs. You can't do them all at once. I'm going to use this to say, hey, these are the ones that are going to be most impactful if I make a change. And that's going to help me then go back to the previous, like what you were just walking through, like, okay,
Yeah.
now I implement this strategy for increasing sales in all these conversion, whatever we want.
Exactly. So you see, yeah, so there's pretty much like the two parts to this have been the first part was how do you actually make a difference? Now it's like how do you measure what those differences are? But I would highly recommend starting here first, identifying where the gaps are, and then now going back to, okay, let's take a look. Do I need to update my product type, my category path, my keywords? And then by doing those optimizations, checking every week, am I increasing my sales rank? Am I improving my impression share? Because you'll see it. You'll see this is data. It comes in every single week. You can see your impression share change, grow by just, you spend a little bit more on advertising. Your impression should go up from that. So definitely a lot of information here. So
Yeah. Next
Lisa,
question, is
yeah.
there data within the marketplace tools that are not included in Scintilla Charter?
So to my understanding, Scintilla Charter has all this and more. Right? It's obviously an extremely powerful tool. It's really something else. Now, it does include all this, but it's listed a little bit differently. That's the idea. It doesn't. I find like this is a very simple form of what exists in Scintilla. Scintilla is much more powerful. It also gives you all that in-store data, which is really the main part of why a lot of users are using Scintilla. There's a digital landscape piece, which does talk about the digital side of things. It gives you information to keywords in a different way. It's just, I would say, different, but more powerful. I find this is like much more along line with like Amazon sellers who use BSR or there's another one for like RTP or something. I forget what it's called. There's just different terms that people use on the Amazon side, and this is a lot more in line with that. Just a little bit more of that e-commerce, digital native type branded terms or just data that people might be familiar with. But
Awesome.
yeah, okay. So how do you use this stuff? How do you take this data and actually make those decisions? So again, this is giving you insight into where things are dropping off within the funnel. There's only 3 metrics here that we're tracking, obviously the sales rank as well, but let's just say impression, click, and add to cart. You can now track where things are getting screwed up. If you have low impressions but have high clicks and add to cart, you just need more traffic. Throw some dollars at it. Increase traffic through ads because you have low impressions, but you're clearly getting the clicks. For people who do see it, they're clicking on it and they're buying it. So obviously you have a good product. Now, if you have high impressions but low clicks, you might be advertising on the wrong keywords, or there might be something fundamentally wrong with your listing. You take a look, oh, you have a 1-star review, it's killing you. You have a very high price comparatively. You're advertising the wrong product. Maybe you need to vary your listings. Maybe your main image is bad. Maybe it's like zoomed out, or there's a low resolution, or it's the wrong item, or something's wrong with it, right? You're not getting those clicks. Essentially, you have a low CTR. And then let's say you have high impressions and clicks, but you have a low add to cart, right? So people are clicking in, they're actually clicking on your product, they're just not purchasing it. Maybe there's a review that has information that tells you something wrong, right? Maybe something within the images is bad. Maybe the copy is bad. Maybe you need to have rich media to show you like a little bit better about your item, right? It just gives you that insight into where the issues are happening. Do I need more traffic? Is it an issue with like just the PDP within the SERP, or is it something on the PDP's page itself that's having issues? This is just, I guess, 3 very simple ways. There could be something you have high impressions, low clicks, and high at the cart. I don't really know how that happens. I'm sure we can think of a solution together, but there are obviously some weird scenarios here. But generally, these are the top 3 things that we see. And lastly, again, this sparkly pro tip here. Use sales rank to identify the biggest areas of opportunity, right? You're trying to know, where do I start with this information? Look at sales rank. You have sales rank that will be in the thousands. We have seen products, oh, the sales rank for this is 2,000. Walmart uses a 6 month for sales rank. It's based on a 6 month rolling. So it could be your item sold one unit, and that's why it's so low down. Some of them will show no sales rank at all, which means it's not selling anything. So this is a great place to start. Look within, let's say you sell many items within a category. Look at all your items in the category, seeing what's selling more, what's selling less, because that could also give you insight into what are the projected sales, right? If you know that you're number three, right? You're number three within the product type, and you're selling, I don't know, 10,000 units a month, and you have another one that's at 50 and it's selling 200 units a month. You know, if you bring this guy up to 10, it could probably bring a few thousand units in a month. So just again, use the data that you have and making those informed decisions on your end. So let's just wrap this up here with this relevancy flywheel and just understanding how all this works. But you have those insights. How does it all feed into each other? Again, content improves your relevancy, which helps your ads do better, which then further improve your relevancy. You go back to your content. It's always constant. It's not a one and done situation with Walmart. You don't just set your listings up and just hope that they do the best. It's very important to constantly go back to content, revisit it, put new keywords into your copy, check your product type if you want to go after other keywords, make sure your category path is aligned with those keywords, and so on and so forth. And make sure that it's always aligned with your ad strategy. If you're just running always on ads and they're doing the same thing every single day and you're working on your content, your ads are not going to work as efficiently. But if you're targeting keywords together on the content and ad speeds together, you're going to have shared results and able to succeed drastically. So that's the spiel. This is the last thing here are some 4 case studies that we've put out together with Marketplace, with WFS, with Walmart Connect. The first one is actually something we're really proud of. We were recipient of Walmart's Marketplace Acceleration Award. We grew a supplier account which transitioned to Marketplace. This is again what we were speaking about before, doing 8 figures within their first year on Marketplace, and just another number of other things when it comes to our efficiency and just different ways that we've been able to help brands grow. So you'll have links to all this within the deck. But yeah, really excited over here. We've seen really phenomenal results from the work that we've done thus far. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Jason, our CRO, or to myself, and we'd love to help you out. So I'll
Yeah.
open the floor now,
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Drop them to Q&A. We'll get to them. You mentioned like people going from supplier to the marketplace side. Is that something you're actively involved in? Do you see a lot? I see a lot of that going on the Amazon front right now. Everybody going from 1P to 3P. Are you seeing a big push by Walmart doing the same thing? It seems
Yeah,
like that's a drive maybe on their side. We'd love to
most
hear your thoughts
definitely.
there. And do you like kind of hold people's hands during that transition, that process? And then do you see if that happens, is there a fall off? I know a lot of times there's people who are like, hey, well, if I switch over there, is there going to be a major impact in sales? Does it go up or down? Love to have any of your
Yeah,
thoughts there.
most definitely. A lot of suppliers who have an expanded assortment who don't bring that to marketplace are really losing out because Walmart Marketplace is evolving and it's bringing on, thousands and thousands of sellers, and they're able to fill in the gaps that you might not have in your 1P catalog. And they're winning, and they're able to hit it more aggressively when it comes to ads, and they're building up their share of voice, and you're slowly losing it. What could eventually happen is you actually might lose your store placement because some 3P brand like really went aggressively and dominated the e-com world, right? Walmart understands. Think of it from Walmart's perspective here for a moment. Walmart sees Amazon as their number one guy that they have to be concerned about, right? Amazon it grew extremely rapidly when it comes to retail, or not retail, when it comes to just revenue from selling products, and they understand and invested heavily on their ecom, right? And their big push is to make sure that ecom is growing for them. So that's why they're pushing a lot of suppliers to make sure that their digital penetration numbers are very high. Now, if you want to help supplement that, they're going to want to push you to grow on marketplace and really bring your full assortment to it. So it helps. It shows good faith with Walmart that you're doing this, and we believe it's very much it's not just a one directional move. You don't just take from 1P and move to 3P. What if you have a new product you want to test out? Many merchants these days say, hey, try it out on 3P first. And we've seen a lot of success with that. We've helped brands get their products in store, right? The Walmart's dream of, the digital to shelf, like from the digital placement to the in-store placement is really, it's true, right? You have that ability to do that. And as a supplier, you already have your foot in the door. You're already a supplier. So if you could show strong growth on other products, it just gives you a little bit more opportunity to bring those products in the store. It goes back and forth. There's a lot of there's a great relationship between the two. So leveraging them is a no-brainer, especially just given the data here. That's just highly recommended purely just from a data standpoint.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Awesome. Well, as we kind of get to the end here, I want to say a quick thank you to everybody who dropped in the questions. Those are awesome. If you have any more, drop them in now. We've got a couple minutes before we totally wrap this up. Other thing is, more than happy to connect you with David and the team over there. I encourage you to reach out if you have any questions, you need any help, anything with Walmart across the board. There's the top recommended people within the network and the brands that are in it today. It's 100% worth a follow-up conversation. If nothing else, just pick their brains on how to win. Look for a follow-up email from me as well. I'd love to connect with you. It might not be next week because I'm out to Shop Talk. Again, if anybody's going to Shop Talk, shoot me an email. Aaron, Aaron at bwgconnect.com. We can connect out there, send you an invite to the dinner. There's other, friends and partners that have like luncheons or golf outings or whatever. Just ping me and I can make connections on that side. But other than that, look for a follow-up email. I'd love to connect one-on-one in a week and a half or so. David, anything final tidbits before we wrap it up here?
no, I think that's good. I think I definitely
Yeah, it's awesome.
said a
Hey,
lot.
you guys are awesome, and I really appreciate you and everything you guys do for not only like the education here, but also like on a day-to-day basis for brands in the network. So, with that, we're going to wrap up this webinar here. Thanks again for everybody listening in. Take care now. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.